Why is it so important? So important that we start with why. This concept is probably the most fundamentally important for myself for both personal and professional growth. This concept, starting with why, revolutionized my growth, and I really want to help you guys understand it too. So, why do we start with why? What is this concept, and why is it so fundamentally important? To be brutally honest, a lot of people, a lot of organizations do not start with why. They're very easily able to articulate what they do. What is their profession? What do they make? What do they sell? But it's very hard for them to articulate why they do it. Now, this can cause a few issues. The main one being that when people do not have clarity of why and they do not rally around a common belief, efficiency reigns at most. And as well, if an organization is not clear on a purpose, a vision of the world that does not yet exist, well then they'll usually never eventuate anything beyond what they do, whether that be a computer company, an outdoor company, a software company, etc. A lot of the most successful in all of those fields, well, the businesses in those fields are just a tool to advance a greater cause, which is a why. So starting with why is so important because it reveals a purpose. It reveals a belief behind a business. There is a quote in a book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why, in which I'll be referencing a lot. This book was the foundation layer for my personal and professional growth. The quote is, "People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it." And this quote has resonated with me since the day that I read this book. That this quote has so much deep meaning, and it is explained excellently throughout Simon's book. But fundamentally, it explains that the why behind everything is the tangible reason why people shop at certain places, the reason that people are so motivated, the reason why people buy certain brands, because it is a representation more so of who they are. Only when the why is clear do the whats and hows of these certain products become tangible and even matter. So let's touch on this. So today I'm going to be referencing a lot of ideas and concepts from the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Now this book is fantastic, and if you're beginning your leadership journey to being high performance, then I absolutely recommend reading this book. This book was the foundation layer to me. When I read this book, it really brought to life everything, and it really motivated me to get the best out of myself for others. So if you're just getting into this and you're wanting to become high performance, read this book. I can absolutely recommend it to you. I'm going to run over a few of the topics explained in this book, but I will not go into the depth that is excellently portrayed by Simon in this book. So when you start with why, and that why is clear, you have that clarity of why within an organization, it helps you find the best fit for your team. Now, a why is a belief, okay? A belief of the world that does not yet exist. In some senses, companies have a vision statement. It clearly articulates why they are in business, and this is an excellent reason why businesses are a good example to use with Start With Why. If you work for a company, it is likely that subconsciously you believe what they believe because their why is clearly articulated. When a why is not clearly articulated, at best inefficiency reigns, okay? People are not able to go beyond what they do because they don't believe in any greater purpose of that company. Oh, I'm a software developer. I developed this software. And that's it. There is no cause, there is no purpose to be motivated for. And at best, they will come to work every day feeling mediocre and just coming to work to get their paycheck. When you start with why and you have that clearly articulated and you find the best fits, those people who believe in that cause, that is where you will get the most efficient, high-performing teams. Because what happens then is something great. It's something beautiful and only seen in organizations of elite-level performance where the why is clear and every single thing that they do articulates that why, including the hiring process, which is what I'm talking about now. When you're clear with why, you can hire the best fits for your business. Because remember, skills can be taught, but a why, a belief, is engraved in someone's personality. You know, one of the famous sayings that they say, skills can be taught, but attitude is the hardest battle. And that is because people's attitude come from their why. When it's ingrained in their personality, that is when it is something great. And you cannot change someone's why. As said, it is ingrained in who they are. So let's tick that one off the list. When you start with why, you can clearly identify the best fits for your team. Everyone in your team believes what you believe. They have the same common goal to advance this cause within the organization, and the organization is merely just a tool to do that. And now this is obviously an ideal situation, and it's probably one of the most difficult things that you'll ever do, is finding this ideal team. But at least you have the tools to begin doing that and to begin that process. When you start recruiting people with the same vision as you, amazing things happen. And we're going to touch on a few of them now. When you start with why, success just happens. Let me explain to you why. This is another great concept covered in the book, and I just want to elaborate on it a little bit. So when you start with why and you have hired the right fits for your team, okay, people who believe what you believe, the business just becomes a tool to advance that greater cause. Okay, a company is a structure, and you as the leader are like a megaphone screaming out that cause. Okay, you want to embody it with everything that you do. And when you hire the right fits for your team, the success just happens, because what's happening is people are subconsciously acting within the best interests of the business, but in their mind, that's not what they're doing. They're actually acting within the best interests of themselves, but because they believe what you believe, okay, and this common purpose is shared, it benefits both parties. And this is where elite high performance comes from. When the clarity is so clear of why, this purpose, it just keeps advancing. And this is why it's so important that when you know why, you hire the best fits for your company. If they do not fit with that vision, remember, skills can be taught, but that why can only be discovered, and it is ingrained in who people are. To touch on what we were just talking about, how when people are acting within the best interests of the business subconsciously because of this belief, this shared belief and this purpose, good culture is promoted, because everyone can clearly articulate why we're in business. Everyone is acting within the best interests of the business and the customer, and that purpose is conveyed through every single thing that you do. It's authentic. Okay, the business is clearly articulating why. It just follows through. It's like a domino effect. The culture is impacted massively because everyone is clear on why we come to work every day. It's when the why is fuzzy and not clear that people have a misunderstood or loose understanding of why they come to work every day, where motivation is not strong. When there's a clarity of why, motivation is present, because everyone is motivated to advance that greater cause. Everyone is acting within the best interests of that greater cause, which in turn, who benefits from that? Customer and company, because the business is a tool to advance this great cause. This is why the why is so important. If you start from the other side of the golden circle, you start from what? That why is fuzzy. And a lot of organizations do this. It's so clear within so many organizations, and often you will achieve a certain level of success going from this way. This starting from what coming in, really about 10% will stick. You throw stuff at a wall hard enough, at least 10% of it will stick, right? So when you are explaining by what, you may be explaining clearly what you do, but without that clear purpose of why, all the stuff that you're saying won't necessarily matter, and the purpose of what you're doing won't get across. So like I said, inefficiency will reign. Some people may get what you're talking about, but it won't come across the way that you want it to. And within organizations where that sense of why is fuzzy, you'll find people showing up to work, lying, hiding, and faking, and just getting through the day with negative attitude, and they just want to collect their paycheck and move on to the next. That is what happens in organizations where the why is fuzzy. That goes right down to the roots. So starting with why will prevent all of that. When that clarity is clear, everyone will be acting within the best interest of that purpose. And it's a really good way to turn an organization around. In some instances, you may have to say goodbye to some people. And honestly, it could be within the best interest of the company and the future to do that and to maintain the people that believe in the best interest of the business because they are following that why. All right, guys, it's time for me to leave you guys with something. I want you guys to have a few takeouts from today. So if we all started communicating this way, if we all started with why, then high performance would just come naturally because everyone is acting with that common belief, that common purpose. Everyone's best interests are with that purpose. So if we all started with why, high performance would just come naturally. Now it's time to ask yourself a few questions, all right? A little bit of reflection. I love reflection, and it's one of the most important things as a leader. Are you starting with why? Do you even know your why? It is never ever too late to start. Okay, it's never ever too late to discover. I absolutely recommend for you guys to read this book if you're just getting started, as it is an absolute foundation layer. This book is awesome. All right, now is your organization starting with why? All right, does your organization resonate with some of the qualities that I read out before of organizations that do not start with why? Okay, is that purpose fuzzy? Is it not clear? If it is never too late to enact change, okay? Not all leaders are in leadership positions, okay? But leaders have a following, all right? It is not a leader's responsibility, essentially, to be in charge. A leader's responsibility is to take care of those in their charge. And just because you're not a leader doesn't mean that you can't make a change with an organization. Starting with why is so important. And if you're not, it's never too late to start, okay? And you watch that one action from you could inspire an entire team. Remember, leaders have a following. You don't have to be in a leadership position to be a leader, all right? Thank you very much for watching today, guys. Please engage in helpful conversation down in the comment section below. Remember, this channel is all about helping you, getting the best out of you so that you can become high performing and get the best out of yourself. So please engage in conversation down in the comment section below. I'm all for it, but please keep it helpful. Remember, we're all here to help each other. Thank you heaps for watching. Head over to the channel and check out some of my other concepts from this book, and absolutely go give it a read if you have not already, because there are some amazing concepts described in this book that I'm going to be doing my best to break down for you guys. So thank you heaps for watching, guys. Head over and subscribe if you want to get the best out of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.